Good evening. Welcome to Where Are They Now with Discover TV, prime time on a Tuesday night. Every week, I'm talking to iconic, legendary South African artists or people in the music business, sometimes local, sometimes international. I ask them to share their journey with us, tell us their crazy stories, tell us how they contributed into the industry. Maybe they're still in the industry, maybe they've moved on, but we want to know, where are they now? So we want to hear the crazy stories and the incredible people that you've met, and the mad experiences, especially because in the music business there's been a few mad experiences, I would say. Yeah. Tonight's guest is someone I've known since he was just a little boy. He comes from music royalty. His journey in the music business is still very much alive, and he is in the studio with us tonight, my darling Grant Funsale. Hello, Grant.
Hello, Sins. How you doing?
It is so lovely to have you here. I'm thrilled. Thank you so much for coming.
I'm super excited.
We were just laughing earlier and saying that you're the youngest guest I've had on my show.
Well, I'm thinking, thank goodness for that.
Yeah, truly. Absolutely. I'm going to ask you all kinds of questions, and I want you to just be there for the audience, there for yourself, there for anybody else who's listening. There are people listening, and I will check in on them just now. If I asked you, if you thought you would end up doing what you do now, what would you answer?
Oh my goodness. I would say with my dad, with me being born into the music industry, literally, somewhere along the line, I didn't have a choice, and I sort of figured that out along the way. And then I decided, because I didn't pick up a guitar like my dad, or I did play piano for a few years, and I dropped that for other reasons.
Reasons?
I just got into that, and I just fell in line with the whole music industry, and I had to, somewhere along the line, do something that was music orientated, and that's where I am now. I'm still on this path after more than 25 years, I would say.
I love it. I saw some pictures just now. Julian, please put up the pictures of Grant when he was a little boy, especially the one with him on the drum kit. I love that picture. It's so cute. Look at you.
So I used to play drums, man. I used to play drums. So here's a story that my dad, if he's watching, will be a little upset, and I have discussed this with him. Is I used to have a drum kit, and I used to be pretty good at playing drums. And then my dad, somewhere along the line, started taking my kit away, the little beautiful Tama kit, and he took it away and started using as backline in his gigs. And eventually I didn't have my drum kits anymore. But anyway, it's not his fault that I stopped playing drums, but I can still keep pretty good time.
I bet you can. Well, as I said, you are definitely part of rock royalty. Look at that little boy.
That's
Zeph. I remember him. You're so Zeph. Check the hair. I'm telling you, the Antwoord would love you. You look beautiful.
I know. Next album.
So, yes, we know you started as a child of Gary Funsale. And Gary was Gary's got a great history. He was in Tank and Circus, later in Clout, Jaluka. That's quite an introduction into the music business. So, whatever happened, you were going to end up somehow in this music business.
Sure.
Like, even starting at school, you were very sporty. I remember that you were like tennis. You used to play tennis, am I right?
Yeah. And what happened with my folks is my dad was obviously on the road all the time, and my mom was modeling, and I got into a space where I got shifted off to boarding school. And I loved boarding school.
You were in Potch?
I went to Potch for like 3-4 years, and I absolutely loved it. I enjoyed boarding school, and that was a good experience.
And then later on, you came back and you were at school in Joburg, right?
Yeah, I went to quite a lot of schools. Since, to be honest with you, I went to, I think, 10 different schools. And that's definitely got to do a lot with my dad. From
Musicians' children.
I know, a lot of schools you go to, Let's just pack up and get in the VW, which he did. He had a blue VW van, and
Combi.
sometimes he had a combi. He had one of those. And we used to move around a lot. So, it was all exciting days, and I learned to deal with people. Being taken out of a school and get thrown into another school after 2 years, I got to learn how to deal with people straight away. And I think that was a fundamental thing in my life that made me later on deal with people much better, which I appreciated, but then not that much, especially the early days.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you were a bit of a naughty boy.
Yes, always.
Yes. But I think you hit the nail on the head when you say that having to, being shunted around quite a lot, being that gypsy child that you were, you definitely got to experience, you grow up quite quickly. I think you get matured. You mature much quicker.
Yeah.
And did you find that sort of held you instead for later years?
I hope so. The one other thing that really helped me out was going to the army. I mean, after all of that, after spending 4 years in Poch, and later on, after school, which I just got through, I went straight into the army, and I went back to Potchefstroom. So Poch was just a big part of my life, and then Poch was just great. I think all people should have gone to the army somewhere along the line. It just really helped me grow up and helped me integrate with all different types of people, and again, a mixed pot of culture that, in those days it was tough because we were still we're just coming out of it was before we're still in the apartheid days. We had some lovely people from all over the country. There was, again, something we'll bring up later in the interview, with me going with my dad to all these different places as a youngster.
Yes.
So that's really helped me understand that.
Yeah, and I think that that gives us something, some kind of substance,
Absolutely.
And as you say, to use later. So let's talk about getting on the road with your dad, going to those festivals, because I remember those festivals so well. And your father, I know, but your father was just one of the finest sound engineers, out front. And I mean, we used to play those big township gigs with Brenda Fussy and all Yvonne Chaka Chaka and Hotline and all of them. Let's talk about that for a bit, because people love those stories.
Oh, Cindy, I don't know where to start. Some of them are so intense. The first thing I would like to say is that I don't think I would be the person I am today if I didn't go as a youngster to some of these places with my father as a young 12, 13-year-old boy going into a space with these 50,000 people like Jabulani or Mafula Park, and being one of 4 or 5 white people amongst all these beautiful black people in the midst of apartheid, and being accepted and growing up fully liberal because of my dad's influence and that whole thing with Craig and the whole thing. It's really opened my eyes, and it made me not sit on the fence. It made me understand what the country was going through. I mean, later on in life, I didn't know what was happening then, really, but I figured it out later, and my dad guided me through that as well. But the stories, I can tell you a few.
Come on, baby, let's go.
Oh, man.
Do I need some tequila for this? I think I should have a sip of tequila.
I'll have a sip of whiskey.
Have a whiskey. I'm having tequila tonight, guys, with lots of ice.
Brenda Fussy always sticks up. Besides Johnny, obviously, Brenda Fussy always stuck big time back in those days. I think you were there. I don't know if you had gone overseas yet. Anyway, she always used to give me the biggest, fattest kisses, and she used to sit backstage and hold, we used to have a little dance, and I didn't really know who she was. I just knew she was famous. And then she would go onto stage after Johnny or before Johnny, and it was always so. My dogs, get the dogs outside.
I thought somebody was fighting.
No, it's them all the time. And then it was only that, it was Chico Twala, who was also a big thing. With you, I mean, the crowd stuff, with me hanging out with all the girls, and and Bones, my Uncle Bones, and I miss dearly.
Bones. Oh.
I mean, there's just so much history there. I'm so blessed to be a part of that in my life, and now having this interview and thinking about it will obviously bring up a lot of memories as well. Yes. But I'm very lucky to be a part of the music industry from a very young age, and going through a lot of stuff that people don't know. And that's I'm lucky to be a part of.
Well, you as I said, you were with your dad, and your dad was with Clout, and he was with Johnny Clegg, and he was with everybody. So you got such a great grounding. I mean, somebody would love to have grown up like that.
I've got something for you. Something to remember, because I keep thinking back, and some of them were some very, very hectic stories that aren't that joyful. But this one was, we were at some concert, I think it was Happy Valley, and there were thousands of people. In those days, they had about 10 Talani guards. I don't know if you remember them. They used to be dressed in yellow.
Talani guards, yes.
Yellow shirts with shumbucks, and 20,000 people going off. And you know how the black guys can have a good party, man. They don't hold back. So there was a guy in the middle of the crowd, Chaluka was playing, and Johnny was dancing, doing his whole thing. And this guy started throwing up his newborn baby, literally, into the air and catching him in the middle of the crowd. And Craig stopped the entire show and spoke to him in Zulu and reprimanded him. And while he was holding his kid, the guys wanted to turn on him, like people were upset with him. And then Craig overspoke them and sorted that out. And then straight away, when everything was sort of sorted out within 1 or 2 minutes, they just dropped straight back into the next verse, and everybody just went berserk. And I think that was the first time my hair stood up on my arms, and I thought, wow, Clegg was just a master of that kind of thing, which I love. That was my first real thing that I remembered about Clegg, like owning a show and being in control. And I was lucky to see that.
That's incredible. And also the power of music, the power of musicians.
Yeah.
They don't even realize sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, if it wasn't for Clegg, can you imagine where we would have been if he wasn't out there putting all that love in and unifying the black and the white people in South Africa? Yes. I mean, it could have been a little bit different, you know. He was, yeah.
Well, and it sure is different now, baby.
No, it's like different.
It's different. We were lucky to come through those great times. You know, people would say, oh, horrible, apartheid, terrible. Yes, of course, terrible. But man, we had the best music. We had the best times in those music days. It was absolutely incredible. Oh.
Do you remember, can I ask you a question? Do you remember a club called Xanadu?
Of course. I used to play there.
I know, you wouldn't believe that I remember that, right? Because I must be pretty young. I remember, I don't know if my dad was in the band yet, but we went to watch you guys, but you were rehearsing. Sorry. You were rehearsing, and it was at Xanadu, and I remember sort of having a crush on Lee, the bass guitarist. So now, it's the first time I've ever said this. She never knows it. No one knows this.
Now she knows.
Auntie Lee, rocking the bass, because there's nothing sexier than a woman on bass guitar.
Oh my God. And she still is one of the most beautiful women I've ever met.
Absolutely.
She's still freaking gorgeous.
And watching you guys do this over and over and over again, I thought, why are they doing the same song? And it was like, you guys used to rehearse for hours before shows, and you professional. Nowadays, it's a little different. I don't know if guys are rehearsing as much or what the story is, but I remember a lot of rehearsing going on at home in 63 Banana Street with my dad and his musicians, his friends.
Yes.
Remember 63 Banana Street?
I remember 16 Banana Street.
I never got a lot of sleep as a child. There was always somebody playing drums, or Bocky the Bear coming around, or my mom. You know my mom. She's like, with the wine and having fun. So,
your mother. She was like also one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life. I mean, when I first met your mother, I thought she was Bridget Bardot.
Yes, exactly.
I was like, oh my God, look at this woman. And she was the mama bear. The mama bear took care of everybody. She made sure everybody
Pisces woman.
Hey?
I said typical Pisces lady.
Pisces lady. Me too, Pisces lady.
Are you a Pisces, Vince?
I am, yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, that's how your mom and I always like hit it. Hello, my Pisces girl. Hello, my Pisces girl. Oh,
check
man.
The Pisces, my wife. Check
I know,
Pisces.
she's a Pisces girl, Claire. Woohoo! Pisces are very good. Oh, Claire, my darling. Welcome to the show, my darling, and everybody.
Thank you. Hi, guys. I was trying to say, keep the dogs out, but hi, everyone.
Don't worry. Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
Claire's going to let the dogs out.
Claire let the dogs out. Woo, 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 woo. Okay, so let us talk. So a hell of a background, a hell of a way to come into this world and to come into this business. But you took a different path. So you didn't become a musician. You started working in clubs.
Yeah.
What was the first place you worked at?
So the first nightclub, well, I went straight into, I went into nightclubs, but that was working the bar and getting bar experience at some of the top nightclubs in Joburg as a barman. And then what happened, I had an opportunity, because I always loved live music, obviously, an opportunity to work at the Blues Room, which was in Ilovo, and it was, I don't know, mid-90s, somewhere along there. Because a lot of it can be a nuisance, especially being a barman and young. And I got an opportunity, and I ended up working at the Blues Room for about a long time, maybe 7-8 years. And I remember George Worthmore, I owe him a lot, because a stern American New Yorker. I never got on with him in the beginning, and then I ended up loving him, even though he was hard. He was always fair to me, but he didn't like a lot of the way South Africans did business, and I could understand him coming from New York, and like people going, oh, we could do this and that. He was like a New Yorker, and the Americans in New York and how they ran their business,
It's spot on, man.
He taught me that, which I took into, when I left the Blues Room and I opened my own venue, I took that business ethic with me, and it really helped me out a lot. It was like, no bullshitting, right? Because if we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And I owe him that, a good man. But at that venue, I mean, I was introduced to, we hosted, I think it was his first club show ever. Rodriguez did his first nightclub show in South Africa there. We had The Mission, we had Finley Quay, we had loads of internationals. He started it out as the Blues Room and only did blues in the beginning. And I went to George and said, listen, there's not enough blues and jazz artists in South Africa for me to continue booking this. It's too difficult for me. So let's introduce some of the other bands. And that was quite a big step. And then all of a sudden, I think one of the first big bands was the Parlotones. And then we started with the big bands coming in, and it turned into an award-winning venue. And, it was just incredible. Those 7-8 years being a part of the Blues Room, I will never forget. And anyone that's in the industry that ever went down into that dingy 250-seater or 200-seater venue with great sound, it was historical. And I loved it. I met so many awesome people. It was introduced to the blues properly there, because I always loved blues. but I
Yes.
fell in love with blues and jazz. And no one knows this about me. I never really tell people, but I have a big love for jazz. So people always think, oh, Grant, rock and roll, Tan's Cafe.
Yeah.
I do like that, but I
Of
really
course.
love my blues and jazz stuff, which I listen to often. But yeah, that was the first step. That was the blues room. And then, you can see
There
all
we
the
go.
artists that, yeah, I mean,
That is
it was insane.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anybody who was anybody played at the blues room. I was living in
Absolutely.
America at the time, and I remember when I came back one time just for a holiday, my friend took me there, and I saw you. I was like, Grant, what are you doing here? He says, I run the place. I was so proud of you.
Oh, thanks, Sins. I was also very proud to be a part of his life as Dan Pedlansky, because Dan started
Yes.
playing. He started playing there when he was 15 years old,
Wow.
literally 15 years old.
That's
And George used
something.
to practice his balls, man. He used to make him do 3 45-minute sets on a Tuesday night for very little pay. And he just got better and better. And but to the blues room, obviously practicing, because Dan's one of the hardest working musicians I've ever met in my life. But he
Wow.
built up a crowd. I mean, if you look where Dan is now, I mean, for me,
Yes.
a lot of people don't know who Dan Pedlansky really is, and he is just. I mean, he's been voted one of the best blues guitarists in the world. I
In
think,
the
you
world.
know. So
Absolutely.
that's just one of the artists. I got mentioned on a couple of his albums as a thank you, and just a great. Yeah, it was good to be a part of that.
I think being a part of growing things is a beautiful thing. A
Yeah.
part of starting things, a part of watching. So you were there when the Parloturn started. You were there when Dan Patlanti started. And you were there when Just Ginger started and Arno Carstens and all these guys were coming up.
Mm.
That's a very
Yeah.
special thing.
And you know what I appreciate as well, and I've got a lot of these. I'm still very good friends with Anna and Art and
Yes.
and the guys from Polytones and stuff. But they've always given back, and I find a lot of the old school guys have been really amazing in South Africa. We are very lucky to have frontmen like Ross and Art and Anna and all
Yes.
these guys that still give back. They're pretty grounded. They are musicians, but they give back, and I like that old school thing. And I think a lot of the South African guys, all the upcoming guys like Jeremy Loops and all, they still have that, which maybe they owe to some of the older school guys going on tour with them or being backstage with
Yes.
them and just feeling how to be relaxed and give back to people. And I think they set a really good thing for us in South Africa.
A
All those guys.
precedent. There's a
Excellent, yeah.
precedent being set. Look, if
Like
we want to,
you, like you.
thank you, my darling. But it's the truth that we learnt the hard way, yes, but we learnt you had to be nice. You
Yeah,
had to be respectful. You
yeah,
couldn't just do whatever the hell you wanted. There was no
yeah.
room for divas,
No. Our
you
industry
know?
is too small for that in South Africa,
Too
and that's
small
okay.
for that. There wasn't any space for that. Nobody could like just be a big star and think that they were like absolutely everything because they weren't, you
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
And
Because you'd
this
meet them 2 weeks
this
later
is it.
at another club.
Exactly. And you meet each other, how's it? How are you? Oh, okay. So you played the blues room last week. Yeah, and this week I'm at Van Tsotsi's place in Brakpan, so shut up. You're never too big to fall, baby. Trust me.
Exactly.
You
And
know,
these days you got to play more than a few venues. You can't just do festivals, especially now with this pandemic. We need to now, once everything opens up even more, we need to do all the smaller gigs and support all the smaller
absolutely.
venues. So we can
Absolutely.
it's all about making the money. It's little bits here and there, and then also do the bigger stuff for the money. But you know what I mean? It's a nice small. I think South African this industry is pretty small, man. It really is, and
It's
it gets
small.
smaller the more time you spend in it. But
Yes,
yeah,
it
it's been
does.
my family for a long time, and I've been lucky.
Yeah, it's been
I've made,
it's
I've
been
made a living out of it, so it's been great.
and that's the
And
main
I'm still
thing
enjoying it.
that you have.
Yeah,
You've made a living out of it. You've got a great family. You've got a good business, which we'll talk about, of course. You know, you can't poo-poo that. I love talking to people like you, not necessarily all the musicians. I like talking to people that have been in the industry in different ways, the agents, the people that booked, some people who've had record companies, etc., etc. It's all valid stuff. And everybody that you mention knows somebody that somebody knows. So you said, oh, so-and-so, and oh, of course, yes, I remember him, and blah, 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 because the industry is small, and we've had to learn from each other. We've really had to learn from each other. I think it's very important.
I tell you something that just popped into my mind right now. The agents in South Africa, and some of the best, have all been all female agents. They've stuck in there for years and years and years. They've been so good, and they also don't get enough acknowledgement. You know, being an agent and running 4 or 5 big bands or whatever, the small stuff, there should be something where that people actually acknowledge those people that are putting their heart and their soul, and dealing with a bunch of rock stars sometimes. It's tough, and you know they don't get the acknowledgement they should get, and I would love to. They should have an award. At Sama Award should give an agent awards. I'd like, you know, or do that. I
totally agree. No, they don't. I totally agree with that. I think that's a very, very valid point, especially because, as you say, they work so damn hard, and they're in the background, the managers, the agents, and all that stuff, and nobody ever gives them kudos. In fact, they get the most flack in this business. Oh, my bloody manager didn't get me this, and my bloody agent can't book this, and they shit, and they this, and they that. Everybody's always laying into them, and I know how hard they work. I've had experience with good ones. I've had experience with bad ones. You know, it's some this side, some that side, but that's life.
Yeah, exactly.
That is life. I want to throw something in here that's going to make you, like, maybe...
What? What is that? What are you talking about?
Well, I know you did a bit of modeling.
Oh, my God. Where are they now, hey?
This is... Where the hell is this boy now? Woo! Woo! Look at that.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't want to go back there.
Listen, you were doing something. It was a different thing, but it pulled it out the hat, man.
Yeah, that sort of worked. I didn't like modeling. I always found it. I used to smoke a bit of weed back in the days, and I used to go to college. And you know, everyone is, you know, it was in Cape Town. Everyone was like all like into it and everything, and I used to go there like, you know, with my eye drops and hang around and feel, I don't feel like I fit in. But I've got a few good jobs and stuff, but it was always stressful doing that kind of thing, man.
That's a different thing. Definitely. For me, dancing, when they used to ask me in the old days, those shows with Ann Williams and all that on TV, and they used to want me to dance. Oh, Jesus. God, I couldn't dance. I'm not a dancer.
Yeah, I'm sure you can dance, but you jiggle around nicely.
I can dance lekker on the dance floor. Yes, baby. You know, I can get around. But do not give me steps and say, step together, step hop, move to the left. Move. Choreography. That is not my strong suit.
Yeah, no. I think I can dance on my own, you know.
I dance very well on my own. Sometimes if somebody had to come into my room, they would say, ooh.
Oh my goodness! I've got some of my friends giving me a Jägermeister on the side. Yeah, I mean, is this legal?
Oh boy! So I'll have to have a bit more tequila with you, darling. By the end of this,
what's wrong? Oh, I love it when you come stay down here with us.
I love staying with you. We always have such fun. We're very chilled. but we do have fun. I just love your vibe. You know, and you're
I
so
become
good to me.
your driver.
Yes, you do. He's like, where do you need to go? But you know what I love about you is that you call me Auntie Cindy. It's so cute.
I do, and some of the you've always accepted that, and it is that, you know, when I call you Sins, but when I need to call you Auntie Sins, I do that too. But a lot of my dad's friends, I don't know where they are now, but they don't like me calling them uncle and auntie, so I've got to be pretty. I don't know why, because it's a South African thing. We call auntie and uncle anyone that's older than us respecting, you know.
It didn't bother me at all. It's so sweet when I hear, "Hi, Auntie Cindy." I know it's Grant. I'm like, "Who's that?" Oh, it's Grant. I need to come and visit soon. Let's talk about some of your travels. You've traveled to the East a lot. Hey?
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about that. I find that very fascinating because the East fascinates me.
Oh, so yeah, I spent a few months young when I traveled to Southeast Asia, and I absolutely love that whole part of the world. I just think they are friendly, they're not so materialistic. I'm generally talking, and some of the best food I've ever had in my life, and I still love their food. I'm talking Thai, Malaysian, all that kind of South Asian food, and just. I don't know. I think they get something that we don't get. You know.
Yes, they definitely do.
You know, I don't know if they spend as much time on their phones as we do. I don't know. I just know they eat better than us, and they're friendly, and they don't need as much as we do. That's in general.
It's a different pace. Yeah, it's a totally different life pace.
Yeah, and then I haven't traveled too much. Claire and I have been to Mozambique. I mean, so what Claire and I do, we decided about 10 years ago, we decided that we've lived in a city most of our life. We moved to Cape Town to get away from all of that. And if we're going to travel, and we've done a bit of fair traveling together, we're only going to go to islands or places that are subtropical or tropical. And that's what we've done. You know, if you're going to have 2 or 3 weeks out of your environment, why would you want to go back to London and we for one day?
No.
We've been and done those, and we go like, we're just going to go pub hopping or drinking or partying and that. I'd rather be drinking a cocktail on the beach and swimming in the sea. You know, that's our vibe.
I love that vibe. That vibe makes so much sense to me.
Yeah. So ultimately, I'd love to own a little live music venue somewhere subtropical, and get some of our big South African artists to come in, maybe in Mauritius or whatever. That would be fantastic, of course.
Can I come?
And upstairs you have a place where all the artists stay, and downstairs is like, you know, breakfast. Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Oh, that is a beautiful dream.
I know.
I love that dream. Listen, you never know. You might find somebody. You got to actually go there and talk to people.
We did. We went to Mauritius, I think, last year or the year before, and we had some conversations, but it's very tough to get into Mauritius right now because there's a lot of South Africans moving in there, and
I know
we need big and stuff. Or a really good idea, a big idea. So, yeah, we're happy in Cape Town. We love Cape Town. We love the people. We love Hart Bay. We live in the most awesome little village ever.
It is lovely
and
there.
People are amazing. They just need a better live music thing. That's another thing. Live music in Cape Town struggles a lot, especially in smaller villages, you know. I mean, Cafe Roo does it really well, but Hart Bay doesn't have a place where you can go and listen to live music every single night. And the local people complain, and it does my head in, where they should have a curfew. Say, listen, you can have your venue, but you can do your music from 7 to 11, you know, and be respectful. But they just want to cut it off. They don't want anything to do with it. And it's just a bit sad. Because there's people that need to make money. There's artists that need to make money. And there's a lot of these small little towns where people shut it down because it's too close to a residential area. And it doesn't make sense.
I totally get it. You know, in our days, and especially those clubs, they were all in town and in Hillbrow. Hillbrow was a residential area, but it was the loudest place you could live. I mean, there was always something. Hey, baby. High Point. I mean, we were always trolling around. Those were the
Yeah.
days, like the best days of everything.
Bella
So,
Napoli.
I mean, so
Bella's.
I came back from America and I heard that you have this club, and I came there to see you, I remember. Tan's
Mm.
Cafe.
Oh,
What a
wow. Yeah.
legend. What a legend place. I mean, I don't know where that name even came from. Tanz. What is that? Dance.
So, yeah, Tanz means dance in German.
I
And we
know.
thought, it was Claire's idea. It was Claire's idea. She said, let's just keep the name because the locals around here already know the name. So a guy
Yes.
called Dave actually opened the place, and he ran it for about a year or so. A great bass guitarist, and they didn't really know what they were doing. I hope he's not watching, but they didn't know what they were doing. And I just coming out of working for a hard New Yorker and running serious shit, and I thought, let's go for this. And we bought Tans, and thank goodness, one of the best things that could have happened is my dad was obviously with Pro Sound, and
Yes.
Pro Sound, Uncle Terry Akers, man, I love him.
Oh,
He stepped in there and said to my dad, okay, let's help them out. And we put in some serious sound in a little venue. So we had sound, we had big sound, we had too much sound, we had loads of lighting, and we had backline. So one of the things that turned Tans around, and it's such a simple thing, is we used to have backline. So artists didn't have
that's
to
it.
lug up
That's
the
it.
drum and the bass guitars. We had all that stuff there, and it made all the difference in the world, And then on top of that, Facebook wasn't there when we first started. So I used to
No.
be, I used to
It was
be
word
people
of mouth and send out flyers and posters and all
with
that
that, but I
stuff.
used to sort of phone, and I used to phone all the artists and say, okay, bring your family. Let's guest list this slide. Let's just get people. Let's just get bums on seats. And
Yes.
I was hectic like that. I was all the time on top of the artist saying, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. And
And
then
it
all
was
of a
all
sudden,
about that.
yeah, and it turned into an amazing award-winning venue. I think we won best live music venue 4 or 5 years in a row. So that was pretty
That's
cool.
something. I
Yeah.
loved that place. I would go there just to watch bands. I didn't have to go there and play. I used to go there to watch bands. The food was good. The vibe was good.
Food was always good since we had the
Hey?
best food. Yeah,
Food
food.
was great. Food
Uh,
was awesome. I mean, I always had the best time there. They had just, you know what it was? It's the vibe.
yeah.
And that's
But you
what
know
makes a
what?
club.
Exactly. But the other thing that really worked for us, and I saw it, if like you walked in there, or Ross or Art, any high profile musician walked in there just to come watch another band, there
Yes.
was no place for them to hide. So they had to be a part of the crowd. So they would
Yes.
stand at the bar or sit at the table, and everyone would be cool. No one would ask them for signatures or freak them out or get into
Yes,
their
yes.
space. And it was that. So they would go and feel a part of the whole thing, like sitting next to celebrity musicians. Many times
Absolutely.
Johnny used to come through there. I used to think, oh, Johnny actually did a gig. Johnny did a gig at me, and we only could seat 150 people. He did a gig for me. I said to my dad, I said, Dad, I really want, it's part of my dream. I've had loads of me. I want to see Johnny do a show here. And my dad went and asked Johnny, and Johnny did. Johnny Clegg did a show for me for 150 people. I put it out on a Monday for 3 hours, and I was sold out within 3 hours. And I
Oh,
don't know if
imagine.
Rodney was that happy with me, but he did it, and he used it as a rehearsal show before he went overseas, and it was just fantastic to see him there after all those years as me growing up, part of that whole thing, and watching him on my stage performing in my venue, our venue. and, and there's a lot of history at the Tans Club as well. I mean, there's stuff I can't even get into.
I know there. Definitely don't. Well,
No,
I know Claire's somewhere around there, but Claire, she's an important part of this because you guys were a team always, and Claire was as much of the team. Yes, you are, of course. And Claire was as much of the team as you. Look at you guys. Look at that. That's beautiful. It's
absolutely
amazing.
no doubt in my mind since that I couldn't, and I'm not just saying this because my wife's sitting over there and this has been brought up, but there's absolutely no ways I could ever have done this without her. She was, and it still is the backbone of everything. And I'm not the easiest person. I'm a little left of center.
I know.
She's always kept the business together. She's always been super professional. She also learned from George. If you send us a quote today, if you send us an inquiry today, we will send you a quote the same day and an invoice the same day if we need to. That's how we roll. It's sort of Joburg style. But anyway, besides that, she's. I think we wouldn't have won these awards without her. Because I was like comedy and Kay was working.
Well, we do know about that. We do know you're the party animal, darling. Quite so.
And the rock stars, I must tell you, so the rock stars used to come in like 3 times a week. We'd have sometimes 3 massive bands in 6 days, and I would party with all of them, and then they would go home and never sleep, and I would go, okay, I'll go there. Julian will tell you about those.
Woo! Oh, Julian. Yeah. Oh, Julian. Yes, Julian has. Julian, he has mentioned some of your parties, and you, of course, I've been privy to some of them, which has been very nice. I have no regrets. Tell me a little bit. You used to host those comedy nights, right? Where was that at Blues Room?
So those started out at the Blues Room, and that for me, it was just a breath of fresh air. So what we did at the Blues Room is to get bums on seats. We used to have a lot of bands. I mean, we used to support local bands, and so we took the same thing to Taz. So on a Wednesday night, and Shelly Kutsia was a big part of that. We would do a Wednesday night and do 5 different bands and have guests coming through and fill the venue. And what happened was we brought in the comedy, and it was a breath of fresh air because it was something we didn't have to have crazy bands and just live music all the time. And they would come in and
different things.
It was lovely. It was much easier to handle one guy at a time than 5 guys going on and off and changing this and backline this and read. So I loved it, and I fell in love with a lot of those guys like Mel Miller and John.
Mel.
Legends, all these guys. I mean, there's a story with Trevor Noah. I mean, Trevor used to come and do these shows as a junior, and already then, we all knew he was going to be famous. He was that good, and I love that. We took it to Tans, and it was a big success again. And I owe that to John Flissness from Rack Management. They just did such a great job, and the comedy was. I still love comedy today, and you got to get into comedy because it can make you cringe. It can make you feel so uncomfortable. I used to stand up from my table and walk into a space and think, I just got to go have a week because I don't know where this is going. It's gnarly.
Some of the boys.
Those guys are legends, man.
It's a totally different medium, but it's still huge entertainment. It's the entertainment business. People say, okay, we're just talking to this and that. I want to have Mel Miller on the show because Mel was a musician and a comedian. I
will watch that any day.
That would be amazing. I'm gonna call Mel. I just want to cross the board with all of this because you're telling me these stories, and I mean, you weren't a musician, but you were in the music business. You weren't a comedian yourself, but you worked with all the comedians. You've had clubs. I mean, you've been in the entertainment business for so long.
Yeah.
And so when you worked the room, for you, firstly, you were the businessman. You had to be a businessman. So you would go in and get everything right and stuff. But you were always, and always have been, a gregarious fellow.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I did try.
No, you are. You've always been, and you are.
Click me, please. Yeah, well, there's something about that, and it's not easy. So some people won't get that, but it's not easy having to be somebody that needs to entertain or look after people that are, in your club, or high profile people, or celebrities coming in from other places. And what happens is you lose energy like that. So you gotta maintain your energy, because you're giving energy all the time, and you gotta, and often I would come home totally exhausted, where I hadn't even been drinking too much or partying too much, and people would say to me, "What's up with you?" And it's just about
I'm depleted. I'm depleted.
Making sure people are happy, and looked after, because somebody with a high profile person could walk out of your venue and say something, and it didn't work, and that's not a good thing. The other thing that I did that was very clever was my dad's idea, and I think you remember this. It was Plum Crazy. So at Plum Crazy, I mean, a lot of people know. Only people where then anyway. Very few people know, or maybe not. But Plum Crazy, I mean, I was very small when I went to Plum Crazy. I must have been like 8, 9 years old when I used to go sleep backstage. But they did a thing where they did the VIP cards. So they would give all the musicians VIP cards to come hang out at any time. And what I did is I didn't do the VIP cards, but I said to all the artists out there, I said, listen, anytime you want to come watch any show, I will put you on the guest list. And I always did that, and it helped.
It does help.
Anyone working in like that, or feeling important, making other people feel important, even if they're not a major player, but they're up and coming, or they want to be a part of it. They ask me. Guys used to phone me. They were musicians and say, "God, please, man, I just want to come watch some tonight at Cloud." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And I was like, 50 rand the door. I just said, "Okay, cool." And I guess two of you, one of you paid, and that really helped out as well. So it was always never turning anyone down, but allowing other people to bring their entourage of energy into the club was always a very important thing.
Well, that's what we had at Plum Crazy. It was prompt corner, where only musicians were allowed in, and if a musician brought you in, you were allowed in. And it made us feel special, and it made us feel, yes, we could still go and party with the crowd and do everything, but we were kind of cool, like, yes, you are a musician and you are somebody. And I really like that. I want to just see who's visiting. We've got Marion from Germany saying hi.
Oh, nice.
Frank Foster saying hi. And Shirley Lubber, she's a musician, a singer. Hi, Shirley, thanks. Do you remember her? So just hi to everybody that is on and watching us and saying hello. I'm having so much fun here with Grant. We're going back in time, of course, talking about things that everybody knows about but don't really know about, because we're
not throwing anyone under the bus either.
We're not throwing anybody under the bus. I'm not interested in that. This is not what this show is about. I mean, it could be, I'm sure people could talk about people, but I don't have that.
Now to like something else.
Yeah, maybe. Let's think of something. Start. Oh, Nolene. Oh no! Don't. Please don't start that. Just Ginger, Watershed, Dan Bertlansky, all those guys, and funnily enough, they're all still going. It's an amazing thing.
They are, but that is like that whole thing. If you think about it now, even guys that started out like 5, 8, 10 years ago, like they haven't had that longevity as some of these guys.
Yeah.
You also think they've also if you look at all those guys, all of them have got 5 or 10 major hits. That are so powerful and ingrained in our South African culture and our genes that they can still rock anywhere and play those songs, and people still go wild because they reminisce and they can still enjoy that whole thing that they've done. So I think that's pretty amazing. And there's only a few of them.
There's only a few of them, and they are our legacies. We've got the older ones, yes, the Ballyhoos and even Clout and all that stuff. But we've still got. Look at David Kramer. I've got to have David on the show. David's going to be amazing on the show. Johnny Clare.
David doesn't play enough. He needs to do more shows. I don't know what he's doing. I know he's a businessman, but he should do more shows. He needs to do a nice tour.
That would be amazing. Everybody loves him. Oh, look at that. Is that George?
That's George. But George, George doesn't look like that. He never had that moustache of his. I think he only had it for about 3 months. And he always was such a slick dresser. He always wore the best suits and smoked the best cigars. Real New York gangster kind of vibe. But, man. And then we have, Claire's looking good there. Everyone else is, Julian has passed away. And then we've got somebody living in Japan. It's an interesting photo, actually. There you are, Sins. Give me a big kiss.
That's me. Yay!
I know what that is. That's in the waterfront, in the V&A waterfront. I remember coming to watch that show.
You booked me some shows. That's what you did. So we got a few more people coming on. We got Anthony Struble. Hello, Anthony.
Hey, Anthony.
And Nolene. Nolene is a fan of ours, and she just a music lover of note. Thanks for coming to visit us.
Tell Anthony needs to open a live music venue together in Half Bay. He's got to make it happen.
Yeah.
He's got to do that anyway. Anthony, come on.
Come on, Anthony. Come on. So, when you said you moved to Cape Town, and I've been to your place, I know that you've moved since, but it's a different vibe there, and you've been able to make it work because Cape Town is definitely a different speed.
Yes. And it's difficult, and Claire and I struggled at first with the move. But it's like you've got to understand that people work at a different pace here. That's basically it. I think it's changed over the last 3 or 4 years. But when we got here 8 years ago, it was definitely still very much more like a slower kind of pace. But I think people have got a little bit, not more professional, but they've just got a little bit more upbeat in Cape Town because I think they've had to, because they've had competition from Joburgers moving down, and it's becoming more international. Everything becoming more competitive. Yes. So, like I said, I'm in love with Cape Town. The weather at the moment, I'm not that in love with because it's been a horrible spring. It's rainy and it's just windy. Yeah. It's just weird all the time. But it's moved down. Come on, Sins.
I'm a Pisces. I want to be by the sea. But will I have enough work, darling?
You need to bring some of the live music things from Joburg down here.
That's what I need to do. I'll start booking bands there. Come on. Bring it on.
We can do it. I need a live music thing.
I'd love that. But you've been booking bands for a long time. That is one of the things you do.
Yeah, we still do that. We still book bands, But
I just wanted to mention, where are you now? Which is Rolling Audio is in full force. Yeah. And guess who's just come on? Gary Fun Sale, Proud Daddy. Hi, Cindy, Proud Daddy. Great show. Oh, man. There's your dad. Hey, Dad. Proud of your boy. So, so tell me a bit about that, Rolling Audio.
So, Rolling Audio. So, Claire and I were in a position where we'd run out of money from the sale of the club, and we're down here. We didn't know what to do. So, I started working for Arno. Claire and I started booking Arno Carstens for a little while, and then we didn't know where to go from that. And what we did, Claire came up with an idea. She said, "Listen, why don't we just open a little hiring company where we book artists, we do sound and lighting, and we put the whole thing together in one package, and we become an entertainment solutions company. Yeah. And we started off slow, and we built it up into a lovely company. I mean, it's still small. We do small stuff. We've done it's up to 6,000 people for the DA, for example. Yeah. But we generally do weddings and corporates and small gigs and stuff.
That's fantastic.
But, we love focusing on the live side of it. So not only DJs and weddings and stuff, we love, especially my sound engineer, Michael, who's my right-hand man.
We love Michael.
Exactly. He says, let's go. We need to go do some live gigs. I want to mix. You know, so we've got some nice things coming up in December, thank goodness. So
okay,
yeah, and it's been such a rough time for everybody. I mean, it's really been tough. Yeah.
This has been. It's been a big eye opener because none of us that I know have ever experienced anything like this.
Yeah.
Nobody of our generation, of your generation. My father even, I mean, the war, my father came from the war, but even then he didn't experience anything like this. It was already kind of over and he was just living a good life, you know. We have just been in it.
Yeah. And it's been, you know, it's just been like everybody sort of also became like withdrawn and went into their own space. Because of this whole thing, you know, which is also a little bit of a mission. But I don't know. I think that next year is going to be a fantastic year for everyone. That's what I believe. I just have to believe that because, you know, I thought 2020 was going to be power. I thought, oh, here we go, you know, another day. Let's go. Let's rock and roll. And it started off so well. We were pumping. And then all of a sudden it started off well. So I believe that 2021 is going to be a fantastic year for everyone. I think that, you know, I don't know what everyone else thinks, but I think our president did a pretty decent job so far. I mean, maybe our lockdown must have been a little bit too long. Yeah. But, I mean, look at the rest of the world. So we don't want to go into that. But, yeah, I think it's going to be a good year.
Next year is definitely because people have had to be very innovative and start new things and find out new things and do new things. And
create more songs.
Yeah, and definitely write more songs. And not only that, dig deep and find other things to make you feel good.
Yeah.
You know,
like spend more time with your wife.
You see? No, but spend more time with your wife. Wait a second, no more bloody babies. I just want to talk a little bit because I know you're a little left off center, and I know you can be a crazy guy, but all that. But bottom line, you have very, very good principles.
Thank you.
I think you do. And let me talk about that for a minute. Where do you think that comes from, Grant?
From my parents.
Yeah.
And Claire from Sale, apparently. I'm getting some Claire's upstairs.
Of course.
Yeah. So that's definitely those kind of things always come from your folks, you know. I believe. So I've been lucky with that, and I've also been lucky with the way I've lived my life that I haven't got into too much trouble when I was really a badass. And I got away with a lot of things, and I was lucky, and I learned from them. So, you know, and then also as soon as you have a child, you know, things change. And you become more grounded and, you know, hopefully more open-minded. But yeah, we've been very lucky since we've been lucky and we've been blessed, and yeah, I appreciate all that. And also, you know, I always give thanks. I appreciate. I always give
gratitude
thanks.
Is a good thing. We've got Lenny Lavery from Ireland. All the way from Ireland saying hi. Trevor Kerr, friend of mine who lives in Joburg. Wesley Gaza. You know Wes. Wes has been around. So people are saying hi, and just know that this is reaching some people. Tell me one thing some people don't know about you. Just one thing. I know.
What can I say? Help me, Michael. Claire, what do people don't know about me?
You love your wife.
Did you hear that?
What did she say?
I don't know. I don't know what to say.
I was going to say finger fingers.
No, don't say that. Oh, no, I'm getting some chips behind the scenes here. One thing that people don't know about me. Oh my
You're
goodness.
very emotional.
Oh, that's true. So
You
I
are
don't know.
emotional.
Yeah, I am. I'm a Cancerian.
I know.
I wouldn't say it's emotional, but I sort of hide it pretty well. So I get really upset. But I've got better as I've got older. So there's something that people don't really know about me. They always sometimes see me as a more upbeat and stronger person than I am.
Yes.
Now I'm giving it away. What about now?
Give it away now. Give it away now. Yeah, we like to know. No, you know what it is.
Glasses, no.
The older, yes. Yeah, what people don't know about me is now to see anything, I have to wear glasses.
Exactly.
I think the older we get, either we learn or we don't. And I think you have definitely. You are living an authentic life, and you're living a life in integrity. And I think that those things are very important. I mean, what else can we want? Have we got any more photos that Grant sent? Because he's got so many gorgeous photos. Jules, put up some photos for us. We got no videos of him cavorting naked in the garden.
No, I don't know what to do videos.
No videos. That's fine. Don't worry.
No.
There's
You never know
Jules. Oh, look at that. You and Miriam Makeba. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that one was at the Blues Room, and I remember guys telling me, some of the staff that I worked with, they were telling me that I used to go around with celebrities and stick my arms around them and just like get the photographer in there and say, "Okay, shoot." So I was like a little celebrity help. But I always loved Mary Makeba. What a superstar! So when I got the opportunity to have a photo taken with her, she didn't even know it was coming. I lined up the photographer. I said, "I'm going in." I looked at her. I think I gave her a kiss on the cheek, and I said, "Just smile." And I got that, and I walked away, and I kept bugging the photographer because in those days, to get a shot from a photographer, you had to wait like a week or two. I don't know why, but it was like, and you get in the mail, you get in your email with like download like porn. Like,
I love it. Oh, I love PJ.
Oh, that's a big superstar, man. She's great.
Yeah, we love Penny. She is
there's
great.
Some stories there as well.
They are big stories.
Absolutely.
There's somebody here called Julian Mark Volmerans.
Oh, yes, I know Jules.
G-Man.
Yeah, how you, brother? Oh, that's my brother, man. He's such an awesome bloke. We've got some stories there, Jules.
You see, I'm waiting for one of those stories. I need to hear a few crazy stories. Come on.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Tell me one good story. Just one.
Oh, Claire, help me.
Okay, good story.
Electric Vines
with your old sound engineer. The new year.
Oh my goodness! Let me think. Let me come back to one of those.
Come back to one of those. What about the mark you think you've made on your world? You know.
Say that again, Sydney. Sorry.
The mark that you've made on the world, on your environment.
Oh wow, that's quite a hectic one. I don't know. I just hope. I think connecting people would be a big one. I hope when I look back that I've helped out certain younger musicians, like for Dan and Nancy, for example, and certain musicians, and giving them a chance to get some stage presence and some stage time and becoming somebody or whatever. I think that's something I would appreciate, helping other musicians.
Okay. And your dad says you play league tennis. He's very proud of that.
Oh yeah. I'm in the finals. I'm in the finals of the doubles in the Dudna Tennis Club on Sunday, which
very impressive.
People don't know that about me. I can play tennis.
Well, we did talk about it earlier. I said you were a tennis player.
Yeah, but I'd love that. So that's my saving grace. It really helps me out. Helps me because you get to a stage where you don't really want to do a lot of exercise, but that keeps me fit.
Yeah.
Get up and get motivated. But to get up on a tennis court and have a game is exciting and it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's as opposed to just getting up and going to the gym all the time. My dad was a squash player. He used to play league and he was a South African champion. And I used to say, I wish I could play squash. I can't play squash. Anything that's got a little ball running around, I just can't focus. I'm so bad at that.
Squash is hard though, hey?
Squash, that's hard.
Yeah, no, I still love it. So I'm looking forward to my game on Sunday.
Good.
You can fly down and come on.
I would love to. I'd love to. I need to come to Cape Town. I've missed it so much because the last time I was there was February, just before lockdown. Remember, I was there.
Yeah. How quick is that done?
Time is just another story. It just doesn't exist.
It's been the fastest year of our lives.
Yeah. This is a total. So, Grant, we're kind of wrapping it up. We're going over our time, which is fine with me. If I can ask you one last question, but before I do that, I firstly want to thank the people that are coming on the show to see the show, to watch the show. Please do come back. We love seeing you. We also love the fact that people are watching on YouTube. Discover TV for giving me this amazing platform to have fun with, to speak to people like you, Grant. It just brings things alive and teaches people stuff. And the people that are listening go, wow, I didn't know about this. I didn't know about that. We love that. So my last question to you is, where are you now?
I'm in a happy space. I've got a beautiful, loving wife that I love and adore, that supports me and keeps our business together. I've got an amazing son. I've got an awesome family. I'm happy where I am at the moment. I just feel like I want another venue, to be honest with you. I really want another venue besides this. I want to be back in there. I want to be watching live music again and being a part of that again, that life. I do miss it. And hopefully that's something we'll work towards. But I'm truly blessed, and I just want to say thank you so much for this interview. It's meant a lot to me because there's a lot of stuff that I've never discussed with people, very cool. And I'm saying thank you to Jules as well, and everyone.
I'm so glad that you felt so comfy and relaxed that you could talk about this stuff, because I think if I'm going to interview you, I want to know you. I want people to know you a bit, and for you to be yourself completely. And I'm very happy that you felt good enough to talk about those things.
Not bad for a Cancerian,
I love you, my darling little Granty Poo.
Love you, sins. Jeez, how is this? It's like full circle, man. It's very cool.
Full circle. It's wild.
Buy some tequila. I'll tell you the stories that we couldn't discuss today. Even more.
Listen, next time I come down, we will just be doing tequila and talking cuck all night, okay?
100%.
I think Jules must join us, though. Then we have a full-on party.
He can bring those non-alcoholic beers any day. I'll supply them.
Well, thank you, everybody. We so appreciate it. Grant, thanks for being who you are, darling. Claire, goodbye, darling. I love you dearly. Bye. Bye, my sweetheart. I'll see you soon, I hope.
Love you guys.
Take care of everybody. We'll see you next week. Next week's guest is Anne Williams. Yeah.
Mama.
Your mama.
I love you, Anne. I love you, Mom. Oh, cool. Cheers, guys.
Bye.